Thank you, Marisol, for joining us. If you wouldn't mind, take a minute to introduce yourself and a little history as to how you found your way to Greenwood.
Oh, goodness. As you know, my name is Marisel Losa, and I am currently the president and CEO of United Way of Greenwood and Abbeville counties. I have been in Greenwood for 2 years and 3 months, but who's counting? And I came from Miami, Florida. And the number one most important question that folks ask me all the time is, why did I make the move from Miami to Greenwood? And my response is usually, why not? Greenwood is an incredibly charming town with a lot to offer in terms of quality of life. When you have spent many years in big city, the idea of small town is very appealing. And just the hustle and bustle and the noise of the city after a very long period of time just kind of can be overwhelming. And so there comes a point where you just kind of want to start slowing down a little. So
What are some of the key what are some of the key services that the United Way of Greenville and Abbeville offers? Like, what would you say are your top 2 to 3 things that is your mission statement?
So the United Way of Greenwood and Abbeville really focuses on connecting the community and our agencies that are serving our community to services, and that could be direct or indirect, and also to resources. And what I mean by direct and indirect, there are services that we ourselves provide, such as free tax preparation, medical supplies, pharmaceutical assistance, and a multitude of other things that we ourselves here provide. And then there is the direct, that's the indirect, and then there's the direct, which are the services that are provided by the agencies that we fund. And so we take a great deal of pride in saying that we responsibly evaluate the agencies in the community for evaluation, assessment, and looking at the outcomes and the impact that they're making to the overall community. And hence, Greenwood Counts, the data platform, which helps us drive decision-making by utilizing the data from the platform. And so we, in turn, work with the agencies to help them understand what that data is, what it looks like, and how to use it.
Yeah, when you hear United Way, you don't necessarily think of high tech and data. So where did you get that idea from?
So it's not a unique idea. It's not an original of mine. It's the large funders, national funders, both government and private, have embraced the idea of the culture of health, which is a concept from Robert Wood Johnson Foundation. Robert Wood Johnson being one of the largest funders for community health in the nation. This is the foundation from the Johnson & Johnson pharmaceutical company. And so this foundation, a few years back, changed their methodology and their perspective on health care, and realized that if you didn't look at the community as an overall comprehensive platform where all of these multiple sectors can come to the table to remedy some of the healthy situations or needs of that community, if we didn't address it at the community level, then it was going to be even more difficult to address it on the individual level. So the idea is, instead of waiting for someone to come into your emergency room with a chronic and or acute illness that could have had resolution, could have been prevented, had the community had better services, had the community been set up to be a healthier community. And there are a world of examples of how that came about, and asthma is probably the best one. When we look especially in children's asthma, in many communities, especially communities of poverty, children's asthma rises to the top. Huge problem with preventable components, many preventable components to it. And so as time has gone by and we've looked at some of the strategies that have been effective, it became very clear that the biggest or the best solutions can be found in a community that works collaboratively, in a community that works towards the same goal, in a community that comes to the table to have very candid, open, honest discussions about what the problems are, how do we prioritize them, and how do we come up with some top goals that are attainable. And what I am trying to do here in Greenwood with Greenwood Counts is to position this community to be able to apply for some real dollars, so we can leave the local dollars here for the local work and the traditional historical investments, and then look at what dollars are outside of Greenwood and outside of South Carolina that we can apply for to really move the needle and address some of the key issues. It takes a village. It's a lot of work to get the folks to the table, the right folks to the table. There's a lot of work involved in not just collaboration, but really honing in on what are the best avenues and what are the best strategies. Reaching agreement is probably the hardest part, a consensus amongst those that are around the table. Getting folks to understand that when you do this type of work, you must leave your ego and your logo at the door. This is not work that is individualized in any way, shape, or form.
So let me ask you that. Who is the intended audience for Greenwood, Greenwood Counts? Who's the intended audience for that platform? Is it meant for anybody to use, or are there specific groups that it's aimed for?
So that's an excellent question. It is an open access program, so anyone can use it. The usual or the more likely users are your academic organizations, your professors that once they get their hands on it want all their students to utilize and learn, your planners, your city and county planners, definitely your nonprofit agencies, and any agency that has any type of program. So even your faith-based entities should be getting on there and seeing if they have a food bank, if they have some type of help program for folks in the community. Where do we stand as a community? The platform offers not only data, but it also connects to 211, which lets you know what resources are available in the community. It also connects you to best practices and evidence-based practices, which in many cases, when you start writing some of your larger, more either national or governmental grants, they want your program that you're applying for monies for to be an evidence-based or mirrored after an evidence-based model. So those things are at your fingertips, as well as funding. So there's a funding section. So once you identify a problem, you see no one else is taking care of it in the community through 211, you look and see what other models are out there nationally that you might be able to tailor to your community and mirror. Now you want to find some funding to do that. And so there is a funding opportunity where you can go in and look at a platform that houses over 1,500 different funders throughout the nation. And we're working on adding our local funders, so that way folks can go to a one-stop shop, one page, and find out all the different layers of information. The beauty of Greenwood Counts is really the functionality in that it's as live as, the data is as live as possible. There is also GIS mapping available. There is a collage of different sources, assessment sources, and national standards. So what I mean by that is that there is a tab for county health rankings, which is a national model that was done by the University of Wisconsin. And what they look at is, how does Greenwood County compare to all the other counties in the nation? How well are we doing? How poor are we doing? The data, the local data on Greenwood is also compared to how are we doing compared to other counties within South Carolina, and then how are we compared to the state. In addition to that, you'll also find the Cite the County Health Rankings, and you'll find Healthy People 2030, which is going to be uploaded this week. I just got the notice. Healthy People 2030 is the national platform for standards. What are the national standards for health? So by 2030, we expect to have these goals. And so our data is then compared to the national standards. So it helps to put perspective and kind of help us benchmark where we are and where we want to be. So
I think people would be very surprised to see that we actually perform better than national standards in some areas. And so it's certainly a fun place to explore. How do you ensure that the people that you're intending to use this, so maybe the hospitals or the professors, or the civil servants or government agencies, how do you make sure that they are utilizing this platform to its maximum effect? I mean, I know it's brand new and people are just getting their toes wet and things are still being built somewhat, but fast forward maybe 3 months or 6 months. How do you make sure this doesn't just become a dead site that's, oh yeah, this is nice, it's out there, but nobody's using it? How do we keep people engaged and kind of show them the benefits that this platform has?
So certainly marketing is a huge piece, making sure we are out there. We are sending out a newsletter. We are also sending out on Wednesdays and Fridays. We have Wednesday's Wisdom Wednesday, which tells you some kind of fun fact about the site. Kind of, did you know that this site can do this? And then on Fridays, we have a Fact Friday, which gives you some data. Like, did you know that in Greenwood, we are X, Y, and Z? But in addition to that, there is a lot of training that will have to take place in the very beginning. So one-on-one training where we can go out and show people not only this is what the site provides, but this is how it is beneficial to you, right? And I think that's really an important piece. And then the most important piece and use of the site will be, and to keep the information relevant and fresh, is to utilize the site and the data on the site to drive community conversations. And so we are now working on, and you will see in the next couple of weeks, a recruitment of folks in the community that want to be part of the Greenwood Counts Community Coalition. And what is this coalition going to do? It is a meeting of the minds representing each one of the different sectors, because there are 8 sectors represented on the site. I want to be very clear that when we talk about healthy communities, we are not talking just healthcare. So this is not about just hospitals and clinics. This entails every single sector that needs to come to the table. Health, education, health itself, and then education, economy, government, social environment, natural environment, transportation, regardless of the fact that we don't have any, but that is a topic for conversation, right? And so bringing all of these folks to the table to then look at, okay, what are the top 10, and this is just an example, my numbers are only a sample, but let's say we utilize the site, identify 10 top key issues that we're not doing so well in Greenwood. And this group comes together, we dissect those 10 issues, we look at those issues that require political will, that we may not be able to affect policy change. And that's the only thing that's going to drive the needle or movement on that needle. And that might be something we have to put in the parking lot or on a back burner for now. And then we're going to continue to look at that list, and there may be 1 or 2 items that we need an extraordinarily large amount of dollars to impact or to move the needle. And that might be something we also put on the parking lot for now as we research and figure out where we can get those dollars and how we get those dollars.
What I see as a really fun opportunity here is for the average citizen who may be a little computer savvy to be able to hop onto Greenwood Counts and take some of that data and maybe bring it to the attention of a city council or county council or their state legislature and help drive some of that change so that it's not just based on gut instinct or anecdotal evidence, but here's some hard numbers that everybody in the community has access to. And that way, you talk about evidence-based decision-making. This is it. This is a great place to go to either confirm or disprove whatever your intuition may be telling you. one of the sections I found most interesting, and of course, given this, the scenario the whole world is in, is one of the first options right on the main screen is to look at COVID data for Greenwood County versus the rest of the state versus the country. And I thought that was, pretty eye-opening, and relatively recent too. It's not updated by the hour like DHEC is, but it still is within the week being updated as far as I could see.
Yes, definitely. Another strategy and another component to the site that I think a lot of our agencies are interested in is that we're able to put a dashboard with the priorities for that organization right on their homepage. And so once you open up the website to any of our agencies, you can see, for example, Beyond Abuse, you'll be able to see once we plug it in, you'll be able to see the numbers that are pertinent to child abuse in Greenwood County and in the state.
Right.
And that's important, especially when you want to understand not only what an agency does, but why it does it, what is the need, and then how much of an impact are they really making it with over time. And so we have a lot of agencies that are very interested in having that information at hand at the fingertips of the community.
We're heading into our final minutes here, and I thank you for the generosity of your time. Is there anything that Greenwood Counts doesn't do yet that you wish it would? It's okay to say it's perfect and it does everything that you could possibly think of. That's a valid answer too.
There's a world of new technology that's out there, and some of the technology would be great if we could interface it with the platform. But of course, especially knowing technology and how it works, sometimes that's impossible. Sometimes it takes a little bit of massaging and just kind of recalibrating and calculating. So yes, it's not perfect. It does have some areas for improvement. I think most of those areas, however, are in that interfacing where we don't have to have 5 tools to consolidate or aggregate data, where we have one tool that everything could feed into. That would be the ideal world, right? We're able to have health data combined with social data, because when you go visit a provider, the provider really wants a comprehensive picture of what you're experiencing, and your social needs are going to definitely impact your health needs. And so the ability to mesh both of those at some time would be the ideal. We're not there yet.
So aside from Greenwood Counts, just in general, is there anything that our membership can do to help you and the United Way of Greenwood and Abbeville in your overall mission? Do you have any big events coming up you need help with? Do you have a need for volunteers? What's something you would like to ask for in these final moments?
Absolutely, we could use your help. So we are having challenges on many levels. Definitely could use volunteers. Our campaign launch for this upcoming year is going to kick off the second week in September. The theme is the heart of what matters. And we're trying to pull the community together more than ever. We have challenges this year above and beyond just the COVID challenges, all of the diversity challenges, all of the things that are happening out in the community. All communities. We also have the layer of United Way model, which is changing. That model of giving at work is going to be very difficult, especially this year with folks being furloughed or laid off. We're bracing ourselves for a big hit this year, and it can go either way. You can be cheerleaders for us and show the community the work that we're doing. And I'm just pulling together now some of our accomplishments for this past year so folks can see what we do, as opposed to folks saying, oh, United Way's campaign is kicking off, they're going to ask us for money. I want folks to understand this is what we do for you, and this is why you should invest dollars in United Way, so that we can continue to do this for you, right? Tax reform, donations, COVID, the model itself, the employee campaign model, and just a world of other factors are going to really impact us this year. And it presents a challenge. And of course, as you know, technology, when there are folks in this town that don't have a roof over their head or food on the table, technology kind of starts sliding into the back burner. So sustainability for us is going to be an issue. Again, especially now with the impact of COVID and folks unemployment rising and folks having some significant basic needs challenges. So the more we're able to bring in, the more we can get folks to help us spread the word on the work we're doing and help us champion this campaign season more than any other in the past. I think it's going to be crucial. So yeah, so we will.
Well, Marisel, you are certainly leading by example, and you know, be proud to stand by your side and help you out, and we'll all get through this together. Again, thank you very much for the time you spent. It was extraordinarily enlightening, and maybe I'm the only one that got a kick out of talking about data for a bunch of minutes. But I think there are many others that are going to be proud to see what the United Way is producing for the community. And this is just one of many things that you're involved in. It's not like Greenwood Counts is the only project you have going on. But thank you for spending some time with us.
My pleasure. Anytime. Happy to come and chat with you guys whenever. Thank you. Take care.